Hello, dear students. We are studying the chapter India after independence, and this is the second part of this chapter. In the previous video, we discussed about the challenges and problems faced by India after independence and how did the members of the Constituent Assembly combat with the problems and challenges and what kind of constitution was prepared by the Constituent Assembly. Now, in this part, we'll study about how were states to be formed. Back in the 1920s, the Indian National Congress, you know that Indian National Congress was the major party which played a very important role in the freedom struggle of India. You know very well about this party, and the main party of the freedom struggle. This party had promised that once the country won independence, each major linguistic groups would have its own province. It means the states will be formed on the basis of language. Linguistic means on the basis of language. You can see linguistic on the basis of language. However, after independence, the Congress did not take any steps to honor this promise. For India had been divided on the basis of religion. Despite the wishes and efforts of Mahatma Gandhi, freedom had come not to one nation but to two nations. It means we have studied in the previous video that how India was divided after partition into Pakistan and India, right? On the basis of two nation theory given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. As a result of the partition of India, more than 1 million people had been killed in riots between Hindus and Muslims. Could the country afford further divisions on the basis of language? It means this was the division on the basis of religion. And on religious basis, when country was divided into two parts, so many people died. Millions of people died in the riots. So the main leaders of India did not want to further division of the country on the basis of language. Like Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Deputy Prime Minister Vallabhbhai Patel both were against the creation of linguistic states. They did not want to further divide the country. Nehru said disruptionist tendencies had come to the fore. To check them, the nation had to be strong and united. Here, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, means then Prime Minister, focused on unity of the country, unity and strength. Or as Vallabhbhai Patel said, the first and the last need of India at present moment is that it should be made a nation. It means here also unity is the main focus of Patel. Everything which helps the growth of nationalism has to go forward, and everything which throws obstacles in its way has to be rejected. So Patel thought that linguistic states are the big hurdles or obstacles in front of national unity, so it should be rejected. We have applied this test to linguistic provinces also, and by this test, in our opinion, they cannot be supported. That the Congress leaders would now go back on their promise created great disappointed. The Kannada speakers, means basically non-Hindi states, Malayalam speakers, Marathi speakers had all looked forward to having their own state, means on the basis of language, on the basis of Kannada language, Malayalam language and Marathi language, they needed and they wanted separate states. The strongest protest, however, came from Telugu speaking districts of what was the Madras Presidency. At that time it was Madras Presidency, and today that is Andhra Pradesh. So on the basis of language, they wanted a new and separate state, Telugu language speakers. When Nehru went to campaign there during the general elections of 1952, it was the first general elections, first Lok Sabha election in 1952. He was met with the black flags, means black flags and slogans demanding we want Andhra, we want Andhra. In October of that year, a veteran Gandhian named Poti Sri Ramulu went on a hunger fast demanding the formation of Andhra Pradesh or Andhra state to protest the interest of Telugu speakers. As the fast went on, it attracted much support. Hartals and bans were observed in many towns. So it was the demand for linguistic state. On 15 December 1952, this was very important date. 58 days into his fast, means after the fast of 58 days, Poti Sri Ramulu died. As a newspaper put it, the news of the passing away of Sri Ramulu engulfed entire Andhra in chaos. The protests were so widespread and intense that the central government was forced to give in to the demand. So, in this way, on October 1st, 1953, the new state of Andhra Pradesh came into being. It means Andhra Pradesh was the first linguistic state. You can say the first linguistic state, Andhra Pradesh. After the creation of Andhra, other linguistic communities also demanded their own separate states. A state reorganization commission. To solve this problem, a state reorganization commission was set up in 1953. In 1953, which submitted its report in 1956, recommending the redrawing of district and provincial boundaries to form compact provinces of Assamese on the basis of Assamese language, Assam, Bengali language, Odia language, Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, and Telugu speakers, respectively. The large Hindi speaking region of North India was broken up into several states. A little later, 1960. In 1960, Bombay Presidency was divided into two states like Gujarat and Maharashtra. For Marathi language speakers, Maharashtra, and for Gujarati, Gujarat. Further, in 1966, Punjab was divided into two parts, Punjab for Punjabi language and for Hindi language, Haryana. The former for the Punjabi speakers and the latter for the rest, means for Hindi speaking people, Haryanvi. Haryana for Haryanvi or Hindi. Here you can see the making of linguistic states, figure 5, princely states and British India. In yellow color, this was the British India, and here these were the princely states, Jammu and Kashmir, and this was Baluchistan, Bahawalpur, and here this was Rajasthan, and this area. These all were the provincial states, independent provincial states. Now this map is indicating erstwhile princely states, and this is the position of 1 November 1956, right? Here you can see these were the erstwhile princely states, erstwhile princely states, right? Now these were made as independent states, and this is the map of 1975. Here you can see no princely state is here, all the states. Basically these states were based on language: Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Odisha, West Bengal, and here Assam, Nagaland on basis Naga language, and Manipur for Manipuri, Mizo for Mizoram, and Tripura. So these were the linguistic states. The bridge on the Mahanadi river, constructed to control the flow of water, bridges and dams became the symbol of a development in independent India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said about dams, the temples of modern India. Temples of modern India, dams, according to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So let's start. The next topic, planning for development. Planning for development. Lifting India and Indians out of poverty and building a modern technical industrial base were among the major objectives of the new nation. So this was the main policy or the aims of the new nation. In 1950, the government set up Planning Commission. It was started in 1950. on 15th March 1950. It was formed, and after that on 28th March 1950 it started its work, Planning Commission. And the head of Planning Commission is Prime Minister, and it was to help design and execute suitable policies for economic development. So there was a broad agreement on what was called a mixed economy model. Here both the state and the private sector, means government sector as well as private sector, would play important role and complementary in increasing production and generating jobs. So both of the main aims of planning commission, what specifically these roles were to be: which industries should be initiated by the state and which by the market, how to achieve a balance between the different regions and states was to defined by the planning commission. So this was the main aim of planning commission. Here 1956, the second 5-year plan. The first 5-year plan in India was started 1951 to 1956, and the main focus of the first 5-year plan was on agriculture, or we can say like primary sector, agriculture or primary sector. In 1956 the second 5-year plan was formulated, and this focused strongly on development of heavy industries. You have to remember, dear students, first 5-year plan especially was for agriculture or the primary sector, but second 5-year plan 1956 to 1961, this plan was specially for heavy industries such as steel and on the building of large dams. Both of the things, large dams and heavy industries like iron and steel industries. These sectors would be under the control of the state, means government. This focus on heavy industry and the effort of at a state regulation of the economy was to guide economic policy for next few decades. This approach had many strong supporters but also some vocal critics also. Jawaharlal Nehru at the Bhilai steel plant. Here in this image you can see the Bhilai steel plant was set up with the help of the former Soviet Union, today is Russia, 1959. In 1959 it was located at Bhilai, backward rural area of Chhattisgarh. It came to be seen as an important sign of the development of modern India after independence. You can see this image, Bhilai steel plant. It is very famous and very important steel plant of India at this time. Some felt it had put inadequate emphasis on agriculture. Others argued that it had neglected primary education. Still, others believed that it had not taken account of the environmental implications of economic policies, as Mahatma Gandhi's follower Meera Behan. Meera Behan wrote in 1949. What she said: science and machinery, mankind means man, may get huge returns for the time, but ultimately will come desolation. We have got to study Nehru's balance and develop our lives within her laws, if we are to survive as a physically healthy and morally decent species.